Good morning and welcome to a short webinar. And it's basically a follow-on from morning prayer this Saturday morning. And interestingly, when we read Psalm 9, the modern version, it struck my heart. And I shared that in the morning prayer with the guided meditation, but I want to just read to you Psalm 9. Well, part of it. My heart overflows with gratitude to God, exuberant. I simply must express or explode. But then it goes on towards the end. Men who promote evil snare themselves in their own nets, but those lies their need of you be found by you. And it was that last line or two that really struck a chord. Today, so many of God's children are running away from truth. And as a human being in this dense negative energy, are you aware that God is you the gifts, the skills that you will need to survive this incarnation? Have you ever thought of that? Well, and you may disagree, and that's good, but in your soul's DNA, I believe that God, our Father, Mother God, gave to us, encoded in our soul's DNA, the wisdom, the skills, the gifts that we will need to get today. What is that saying to your heart? What are you sensing in here when I share those words? Because if you believe in them, then why waste hard-earned money and throw it on all these crazy fantasies that the head fills you with, that you must do this course and that course? If you truly make time each day to reawaken your heart and come back into the presence of the and embrace those gifts that are there, you will be more than well equipped. You will be able to do what Christ said others would do when they come after him, because he said, many will come after me who will do even greater things than I did. And there you have it. You have the potential within you to say to that mountain, move, and it'll move. Not that we would, but you have all the required skills that you need. But the head kicks in and starts making you feel unworthy. Oh, I must do this and I must do that. Ego. Oh, I must take time out to be alone with God. That's powerful. And providing it's not running away from facing what you have to face. We all get tempted. I get tempted every day. I do. Just because I'm wearing a habit, I'm human. I get despondent. I get discouraged. I suffer with depression. And I battle with that every day. But if I were to listen to my head, I would never get out of bed. I'm sorry for myself. Christ, the Son of God, is calling God's children to come home, calling them to surrender to God's love in their heart, calling and become the hands and the feet and the beating heart of a loving God, and to bring God's peace and unity through our prayer life. We live in a beautiful world. I call it the Cathedral of God, but sadly, mankind are destroying it. Lately, there's been a lot said and many programs done to highlight the problems of plastic. And the great David Attenborough shared with on one of his amazing programs of how this little baby whale was dead because it had ingested plastic, and its poor mother wouldn't let it go. And when he took the cameras down into the ocean floor, you could see it littered with our plastic. We've become such a carefree, careless human race, where we think nothing of throwing our litter through the window as we're driving our cars. We think nothing of dumping our rubbish wherever. We need to come back to God's center, and we need to have the wisdom to discern, especially for those of us on a spiritual path with God. Should I be behaving in this way? Should I not be caring for this sacred earth and the animal kingdom? I mean, look what's happening in Syria, where their president uses chlorine gas on his people. It's unbelievable. But will we ever learn our lessons? The ego is a dangerous tool, and pride always comes before a fall. And as educators, but then something goes wrong. They become with their own self-importance. They lose the message, and greed kicks in. On image, and having these millions of disciples feeding their ego. But what is your God saying to you? What are you sensing in your heart? Well, let's just relax for a moment. Let's just be still to this place of love. I invite you just to close your eyes, to be still, and to relax. Having closed your eyes, you are at home in your apartment. I would like you to look around the room that you are in and become aware of what you see, what have been or are currently doing. What are you currently doing? Take your time in observing the place that you now call home. Just be still. You hear a knock on the door and you wonder who is coming, as you did not expect anyone. And when you open the door, you find Jesus standing there. What happens when you see him standing at the door? Are you glad to see Jesus? Do you welcome him? Or are you feeling apprehensive? And if so, why? Why are you apprehensive? And do you invite Jesus to come in? Do you? And if he does, what will you do? What will you do? What will you do? And this is the most important question. Ask yourself whether you wish Jesus to be just a guest or whether he may stay. Be still. And Jesus is there in front of you, waiting for your response. Do you wish him to stay, or do you want him to go? And whatever decision you make, remember this: you are loved. You are loved by Jesus. So where does this leave you now? Where are you standing in front of you? Take time to reflect on those words. And if you should choose to let Jesus go, remember this: he will follow you every step of your journey, and he will ask you every time you listen to his voice, will you come home to my love? Relax, be still, and come home to your truth, your sacred truth. And put aside what others may think of you. But make time to be still and to listen to that inner voice guide you every waking moment to come home to your truth. And we sum up this short webinar by reminding you that when you came into this incarnation, a child of God, created in the image and likeness of God, you were whole and complete. And that all that you need to survive the onslaught of evil or your ego, you already have those gifts encoded in your soul's DNA. How does that leave you? I pray it gives you courage to face fears or whatever ails you or holds you back, by naming it now, by blessing it because it's yours, and by releasing it to Christ in a mindset of gratitude, and keep thanking God. Answer to your prayer. And your prayers will be answered, not when you want, but when the time is right. So we conclude with the short mantra. I am a whole and perfect child of God. I was created as God's love child. I am a child. Thank you for listening to this old monk. And if you wish to come and join us for morning prayer or evening prayer on our Facebook page, then do so. The link will be the information that goes with the video. But I wish you a blessed day, and I pray that you will come home to your divine truth and reclaim your divinity as a co-creator of God. Amen. Namaste, Shalom, Inshallah, Paxet Bonum, Om Shani, Solo di Caritas, Salam Alaikum, and may the peace of the Son of Peace become your peace. God bless you.